A guy showed me his Shopify dashboard last month. $100,000 in sales. 6 figures. The exact screenshot people post to prove they finally made it. Then he showed me his bank account, and there was almost nothing in it. Not a typo. 100 grand went through that store, and he could barely cover his rent. And here is the part that should stop you cold. He did nothing obviously wrong. Real product, real orders, happy customers leaving 5-star reviews. The money vanished anyway, and it vanished through a hole that almost every new store owner cannot even see. I am going to show you exactly where every single dollar went, one cut at a time. But the number that actually decides whether a store feeds you or quietly bleeds you, I am saving for the end, because it only lands once you have watched the 100,000 disappear in front of you. Stay with me. Here is what nobody posting those screenshots will ever tell you. Revenue is the number everyone brags about, and it is the number that lies straight to your face. Underneath it there is a second number, a quieter one, that the winners obsess over and the beginners never even bother to calculate. Hold on to that, because the moment I finally show it to you, this whole game flips completely. So let me walk you down the ladder, one cut at a time, from the sale at the top to what is actually left at the very bottom. It gets worse than you think right around the third cut, so do not skip ahead. Start with one clean order. A customer buys a product for $100. On the dashboard, that is $100 of glorious revenue. The counter ticks up, the little notification dings, and it feels like pure profit dropping into your lap. It is not. That $100 is not yours. It is just the starting pile, and now the real world lines up to take its cuts. Cut number 1 is the one everyone actually remembers, and it is the smallest of the 3 that will end up mattering. Cut 1. The cost of the actual product. You sold it for $100, but you paid your supplier to make it and ship it to that customer. Say the product plus its shipping cost you $40. That is not some worst case, that is completely normal, and plenty of stores run tighter margins than that. So right away, $60 is what is left. Most beginners stop the math right here. They go, great, $60 profit per order, I am basically rich. They are not even close, because they just forgot how the customer found that product in the first place. And that is cut 2, the silent killer. Cut 2, the cost to get the customer. Nobody wakes up and randomly types your brand new store into their browser. You paid to put that product in front of them, almost always with ads. And here is the brutal part nobody budgets for. On a cold audience, buying a customer is expensive, far more expensive than beginners ever expect. It is completely normal to spend $25, $30, even $35 in ad spend to land one single $100 sale. So take our $60 and knock off $30 for the ad that made the sale happen at all. We are down to $30. Half the money we were holding a second ago, gone, and we have not paid one single fee yet. And the fees, quietly, are cut 3. Cut 3. The house always takes its slice. Every sale you make runs through a stack of little tolls you barely even notice. The payment processor takes roughly 3% plus a fixed fee just to move the money. Your platform takes its cut on top. Then the apps. The upsell app, the email app, the review app, the tracking app, each one a monthly bill quietly dividing itself across every order you get. Individually they all look tiny. A few percent here, a couple dollars there. Stacked together, they eat another $8 to $10 out of our order. So now that 30 is really closer to 20. From a beautiful $100 sale, we are holding about $20. And I still have not shown you the cut that actually broke this guy, because here is the one that hides in the shadows. Returns, refunds, and the customers who charge back. Not every order sticks. Some come back, some never arrive, and you eat the cost of the replacement. Some customer disputes the charge with their bank, and you lose the product, you lose the money, and you pay a penalty fee on top of it. Across all your orders, that might only be a handful of them. But the cost of those bad orders does not politely land on them alone. It smears across all of your good ones. Spread that pain over the whole batch, and it quietly pulls another $5, $6, $7 off of every single order you thought was clean. So watch exactly where we actually landed. $100 in, 40 for the product, 30 for the ad, 10 for the fees, and call it 6 for the bad orders. What is left, out of that gorgeous $100 sale, is somewhere around $14. 14. On a good day. That is the truth hiding behind the 6-figure screenshot. Now do the one thing the screenshot never ever does. multiply it back up. 100,000 in sales is 1,000 of those $100 orders. 1,000 orders times $14 is $14,000. For an entire year of work, of customer service, of ad management, of packing boxes and putting out fires. 14 grand. And that is before he pays himself a cent, before taxes, and before the one bad month where the ad costs spike and that $14 per order shrinks to 4, or to nothing. That is how a man does $100,000 in sales and still cannot cover his rent. The revenue was completely real. It was just never once the number that actually mattered. And here is what makes it so much more dangerous than a rough first year. It gets worse, not better, the bigger you get. Because almost every one of those cuts is a percentage. They do not shrink as you scale, they grow right alongside your sales. Double your revenue, and you double your ad bill. You double your fees, you double your refunds. The hole does not quietly close as you grow into it. It gets wider, in perfect lockstep with the sales, unless you go fix the one number sitting underneath all of it. Which is exactly where we are going right now. So here is the turn, the part 1 promised you at the very start, the number the winners actually watch. It is not revenue. It is not even your total profit at the end of the year. It is the profit left on a single order after every cut is taken. The pros have a fancy name for it, contribution margin. But honestly, forget the term, just call it what it really is, your keep. How many dollars you actually keep per order after the product, the ads, the fees, and the bad orders have all taken their bite. In our example, the keep was about $14 on a $100 sale. That one number, that 14, is the entire game, and here is exactly why. Because your keep is what tells you the truth about your ads before they quietly bankrupt you. Watch this. If you keep $14 per order after the product and the fees, but before the ad, then the very moment your average cost to get a customer climbs past that, every new sale you make loses you money. Sell more, lose more, scale up, sink faster. This is the exact trap that eats growing stores alive. They see sales climbing, so they pour more into ads to grow, never realizing they already crossed the line where each new order is now underwater. The dashboard says up. The bank says down, and both of them are telling the truth, because they are measuring two completely different numbers, and only one of them pays your rent. And here is where it gets sharper, because your keep hands you one more number the pros quietly live by, your break-even return on ad spend. It sounds technical? It is not. It is simply how many dollars in sales you need to pull back for every single dollar of ads, just to not lose money. If 40 of your 100 is product, and another dozen is fees, then more than half of every sale is already spoken for before a single ad even runs. Which means you need well over $2 back in sales for every $1 you feed the ads, just to break even. Most beginners proudly chase a return of 1.5, and then wonder why they are drowning. They were underwater before they ever turned the ads on. Your keep tells you that break-even line right down to the dollar, and everything above it is the only real profit you are ever going to see. So here is exactly what to do. Tonight, in about 10 minutes, before you spend one more dollar on ads. Take a single product. Write down what you sell it for. Now subtract, in order. Subtract what the product and its shipping actually cost you. Subtract the average you spend on ads to get one sale, and if you do not know that number yet, stop, because that is your real problem. Find it first. Subtract your payment and platform and app fees. Call it 10 to 12% to be safe. Then shave off a few more percent for the returns and refunds you know are coming. Whatever survives all of that is your keep. That is the only number that tells you if this product is a real business, or just a very busy, very expensive way to lose money. And here is the flip, the part that turns this from depressing into genuinely powerful. Once you know your keep, you suddenly know your ceiling. If you keep $30 per order before ads, then $30 is the absolute most you can ever pay to acquire a customer and still break even, and you want to live well underneath it. Now your ad targets are not a hopeful guess anymore. You know the exact number your cost per sale has to stay below, and the second it creeps above that line, you know to kill the campaign before it kills you. That right there is the whole difference between the owner who scales into profit and the one who scales straight into a hole. One of them knows their keep, the other only ever watch their revenue climb. You do not need a bigger store to win this. You need to know what you keep per order, and then defend that number like your life depends on it, because your business honestly does. The people who blow up are almost never the ones with small sales. They are the ones with big, loud, six-figure sales and no idea how little of it they were ever actually allowed to hold. If this finally made those six-figure screenshots feel like the illusion they really are, subscribe, because the next video breaks down exactly how to raise your keep. The pricing moves and the supplier tricks that widen your margin without scaring off a single customer. And I dropped the simple profit per order calculator I use, plus the tools for tracking your real numbers, down in the description, and they cost nothing to start. Run your keep tonight on one product before you spend another dollar. Then decide honestly if you are building a business or just a very expensive way to stay busy.